That's all right. Like I said, John Lynch, a little nerdy, a little dorky. But I'll tell you this, his game is not that. And they're going to move his ass all over the place. All right. Gary Cobb will join us. That'll be at 4:30. Like I said, we are working on Anthony Munoz. And Zander threw one out too. You know what? Let's get Terry McLaurin, the guy who will be throwing the football to Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels. Let's get his coach, Herm Edwards, when he was at Arizona State on this week. So we will do that for you guys too. So we'll work on Herm, the former Eagle himself, former NFL head coach. All right, guys, hit that like button. You guys have been great with Supers here on this Monday. It's a football Monday as we roll towards the Bengals this week. Without further ado, these guys were working hard over the weekend. There were a lot of conversations and practices over the weekend with the Eagles. Big Z's working his backside off 24/7 because everyone's starting to roll back into the network now, so we appreciate that. Without further ado, it is our boy, Big Z. Zander Krause joins us now. How you doing?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Oh, good, man. How was the weekend?
Great, man. Great weekend down at the shore. Nice weekend out. So I'm ready for the football season, though, man. Can you believe it? Eagles game this week, bro. Eagles game on Thursday this week. And I know it's preseason, but shit, I'm still happy to see the team out there, man.
I am absolutely throttled about it. Dude, where will Coop play?
I feel like he's going to end up back in the slot. You know, just because I don't see who's going to play there. Like, it's either him or McWilliams. Right now is what it looks like. Yeah, I guess maybe you could say Makuba, maybe, but like until Vic shows me that in practice, I'm not going to go out on that limb because he moves everybody around. So if Makuba hasn't been in the slot at all in practice, I'm not going to project him to be there. So I think DeJean would be a great safety, but I think he's going to end up at nickel again this year because I don't see who else would be there other than Mac McWilliams, who's a 5th-round rookie. And let's be real, that's a lofty projection at this point in his career.
You think they overplayed that safety position, or do you think they overplayed the corner position more?
It's one of my biggest fears coming into the year. Not fears. That's not the right word.
Questions.
I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just saying it's one of my fears that your ego got in the way and you couldn't handle a guy like Gardner Johnson. And instead of just biting the bullet and being a good football team, which you already proved you can win with him. So, like, anybody that says, oh, get him out of there, all right, I get it. Maybe you don't want him there for the long term, but you already proved you can win with him. Yeah. So, like, it's not even like you lost last year and it's like, oh, we had to get rid of Gardner Johnson to get over the hump. You already proved you can win with him. Now, was he probably a headache? I'm sure he was. Was he a little bit obnoxious at times? I'm sure he was. But you already proved you could win. Did the ego need to die a little bit harder there and just keep him around? I mean, right now we're projecting a rookie or Sidney Brown. Now, I think Sidney Brown's probably going to win the job, but I don't know. Look, that's one of my biggest things coming in, Sills. Did they get rid of Gardner Johnson for reasons that weren't worthy of getting rid of a good football player? You know, this is a football team. You know, you need some of those players. That's my worry with that.
You think they punted too soon on Slay?
No. I think he's a big loss.
Practice.
I'm not saying he's not a big loss. I'm just saying at some point you do have to turn the page on 35-year-old players. Now, you could easily push back and say, all right, dude, well, you're replacing him with the stiff and Keely Ringo who hasn't proven shit. And I would say true, but, you know, for a team that
I'm not there on stiff yet.
I'm not there either, but I'm just saying if you went to the other side of it, I can understand that. But, you know, 35, 36. I think he was truly on the other side of his prime. I think we all know that. Struggled to stay on the field consistently. And I think at some point, you know, I think Howie subscribes to the philosophy now after the 2018 season of it's better to be a year early than a year late.
Yes, and me too. I've always believed that.
Yeah. So I think with the other big factor in that, though, was Ringo. It's like if it wasn't this year for Ringo, it was never for Ringo. So they had the tough decision to make. They decided to go the way of the young gun and try and let him win it and earn it. And that obviously gives you a better long term because if Slay comes back he's good for 1 year. And then you still don't know what life after Slay looks
you
like.
You pause the development.
Exactly. So it's like maybe you take a small hit week 1 through 6, week 1 through 8, week 1 through 10, and if you can get your cornerback there that you feel better about, I think it's worth it. But it's still yet to be determined. But the thing I understand about Slay is eventually you got to move on from older players. Like Gardner Johnson's 28 or 29. Like he's in the prime of his career. So that's a different scenario in my eyes than Slay. And I'm not saying that the Gardner Johnson move is going to be the downfall. I'm just hoping that they got rid of him for the right reasons, not, hey, I couldn't deal with the personality, because I don't think that's a good reason to get rid of a good football player.
I think they got quite a question with that safety spot. Okay, so let's say you're right, and Sidney Brown wins that job, right?
Yeah.
And let's say Vic wants in base. He wants Cooper to play in that base. Okay, there's only 2 safeties.
Right.
Where's Reed in this?
What do you mean? Reed would be.
You drafted a 3rd rounder, a 2nd rounder, and you're talking of moving.
Cooper
talked about it today about playing safety. Yeah. He just had to learn.
I see what you're saying.
So now, what if you've got Sidney and him playing well, and then you got Reed out there at 15, and you got another guy, Makuba, you took in the 2nd. What's the future there at safety in your opinion?
Well, which one do you view as the safety net? Because maybe that's the reason they haven't paid Reed yet.
Cooper, where the Jeans my safety net.
No, I'm talking about the other 3. Cooper's not going. Cooper, listen, it doesn't matter if Cooper's safety, slot, outside. He's not going anywhere.
No.
He's going to be in Philly for a long time. So leave him just to the side for a second, all right? You got Makuba, you got Sidney Brown, who has a couple years left, and then you got Reed Blankenship, who is going into the final year of his deal. Is this the reason that they didn't give Reed the deal yet? And maybe they're like, all right, let's go to camp. We got two mid-round picks coming in high mid.
High.
Yes. 2nd and a 3rd is pretty good. And then you also have Cooper DeJean. If one of these guys gets moved back, we're not going to pay Reed. I don't think that's the case. I think it's the other 3 battling for the 1 spot. And ideally they don't want Cooper back there. They'd rather have Cooper as either a nickel or a versatile cornerback. That's what I think they would prefer. But if you put Cooper back there full time, somebody's got to go. You're basically, and then let's just say they
right. If they put him at safety, that is not good for Reed.
It's also not good for. Well, yeah, that's where I was getting to. I mean, if you move Cooper back full time, and then you have.
And Sidney continues to play well.
If leave even just Sidney out, you just spent a 2nd round pick on a safety. So you're let's just say they pay Reed and they make Cooper a full-time safety. Well, you just spent a 2nd round pick on a guy that's not going to hit the field for 3 years.
Correct. And you got a 2 there also. You got a 2 and a 3 there.
Well, the 2 is Makuba. You'd be giving up on the 3.
And you got a 3. Where you going?
I don't think moving Coop makes sense, or moving Coop to safety makes sense for these reasons. I mean, one way or another, you're going to have to
them there
in base. So very, very small sample size.
Yeah.
And I get that because they're only going to have two guys on the, 2 corners and two safeties on the field at that time. Obviously, you're not going to take Cooper off the field. So it's like, where do you get him on the field? Either outside or safety. Somebody's got to go. And I would rather probably take off the rookie or Sidney Brown there. So that makes sense to me. I don't think that's a big issue. I think where the real issues would arise would be if they moved Cooper to safety. Like I'm talking like when they're in nickel, Cooper's at safety. That is where I think the big issue would arise.
All right. How about this one? Do you agree? The more you hear other names being thrown in like Eli Ricks, the more that spells doom for Keely Ringo, that you're adding another guy to a potential that could take that job, because Vic said today, he said, yeah, he's worked himself into the conversation. He's starting to get into the conversation. Dude, I can't think they're happy with what the first 10, 11 days have been with some of the positions. Dude, I got to say it. I'm better today about your D-line, about the replacements of Milton and Josh than I am about the safety and corner. I don't really know what your depth even looks like. I mean, how do you feel about it? Am I wrong? Don't you think the more names that get added speaks more questions to the corner?
Definitely. But here's the thing with it is that I do still think that they have the guys there in the running. And if one of those guys fall flat on their face, we're going to have a big issue. Like you heard Vic today, he was like, Dory's having a good camp. Keely's having a good camp. That's a close battle right now. I'd rather hear that than say, Dory's way ahead. Keely Ringo looks like shit. Now you're like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Now we basically gave up Slay for Dory, and we don't have a long-term answer at cornerback. And the guy we drafted to be that guy's falling flat. So I don't think I don't think we're anywhere close to dire straits or anything in that in these two positions. But they are definitely the biggest positions or the biggest question marks coming in. How do you feel about edge rushers? I know you just mentioned the D line, but that's John's like John is like, he knows everybody wants to talk about corner and safety, but he's like, the edge rushers are a way bigger problem in my eyes than the corner and the safety.
He must be seeing things in practice then on setting the edge. Because I don't care about the pass rushing. I only care if you can play the run out there. You proved it to me a year ago. You don't need to be elite out there at the edge rushing the passer. You need to be elite out there at turning the play inside and not allowing people to get out to your outside shade. So, but again, you're going against Lane and you're going against Mulata. So those edges are going to get fucked up, Zander. I mean, you're not going to win that. My question mark will be, I want to see how that looks against the Bengals. Supposedly Burrow's going to play a couple series.
Yeah, remember they played Burrow in it. They played Burrow last year, didn't they? In the preseason? Yeah. Well, that'll be great. Oh, that'll be fucking great. Yo, Keely Ringo, let's see it. All right, you got the best passing quarterback in football coming in. I hope Joe Burrow. I hope this is what Joe Burrow does, and this is for our sake, everybody. I hope he throws 4 straight passes. All right. 2 to Ringo and 2 at the safety spot. I don't give a shit about Quinion. I don't give a shit about Cooper. I don't care about any of them.
You'll figure it out right away.
Target the safety. Let's see what these guys are made of, man.
That's right. Hey, he'll figure it out for you. That's what we'll say here. All right. I got to ask this. I may have thrown this at you before, but Haas, why do I feel this? On August 4th, I feel that Jahad Campbell is ahead of Q and Cooper of a year ago when I'm hearing Vic Fangio make these comments. I'm giving this guy so much more responsibility that I might be giving too much intel and too much of what I'm asking him to do that we kind of maybe want to pull it back. Or he's like, I'm paraphrasing it here, bud. Am I right when I say Campbell just seems that he's ahead of what those guys were? Or maybe it's even. How do you see that?
Well, I think that would be a good case scenario.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think it makes it harder. But, I mean, look, who do we want playing here? The first rounder or the fifth rounders? I'd rather have the fifth rounder be wasted than the first rounder. So, look, it's ahead of schedule on Jahad Campbell. But, the one thing I'd urge some caution, to be cautious on is Vic might like you a lot in practice. That doesn't mean he's going to put you in a full-time role in the game yet.
No.
And I think he values that year that Trotter had last year too. 1 year in my system. And he already said that at the press conference. I don't think it was today's press conference. It was last time. But, he basically said, yeah, Trotter's been great. He's already got a year in the system. He knows everything I want to do at that position. So I think Vic values that. And based on what I'm hearing from not even just John, I was reading a bunch of different reporters. Trotter looks good, man. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be this groundbreaking player, but sometimes guys are just good enough where you don't got to take them off the field, dude.
He looked intimidating today, too.
Huh?
I liked his look. I mean, he looks intimidating a little bit out there, too. A little rough guy sitting at the microphone looking over at people. I thought he had a presence.
Yeah, man. I mean, look. Listen,
I like a presence, Zander.
I know you do. I agree with that. I mean, presence goes deeper than just football. That matters in everything in life. So I get it. I like Trotter though. We'll see. I think it's a I'm excited about this one because it's been a while, all right, since we've had like a lot of good players at linebacker. And we got more players than we know what to do with. And
Kid London too.
yeah, and that's a welcome sign for me right now. That's a good problem to have for the Philadelphia Eagles, who have struggled at that position for a long time.
Okay, so I didn't know Barkley was a shit talker like this. So I guess
Wow,
Barkley,
what did he do? I didn't see.
Oh, Barkley was talking how he's talking shit the whole time, and everyone's going like, even Cooper goes, "Oh my God, does he talk trash?" You hear what he said about BG? He goes, "This is Barkley talking." He goes, "Yeah, BG's shit talking was annoying." He said
it was. That's the fucking point, Saquon. That's the whole point.
He goes, "It's just annoying," and Barkley was like, "Yeah, man, I think challenging each other out there and." Everyone going forward and doing the right thing out there. I like Saquon Barkley, dude. I really
he's
do.
Good, man. He's good.
Yeah. Hey, how about Jalen had a good day?
Jalen's got a good day every day.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Not according to people that have been watching.
For anybody who missed it, I put up a masterclass today on why people hate Jalen Hurts. It's hilarious.
Why do they hate him? I don't hate the guy. I don't know the guy.
I didn't say you.
Yeah. Who hates him? Why do they hate him?
What do you mean? A lot of people hate him.
Why do they hate him?
Because he breaks the mold for what people assume will be successful at that position. And he does it his way. And he's unmoved, unflappable, and unconcerned by anybody who tries to push him into a different way to do things. And in everything in life, this isn't just football. Sometimes people get uncomfortable by that guy. And you'll resonate with this because you are that guy. I was that guy. Look, people like people who fall inside the lines. Jalen doesn't look like your average quarterback. He didn't do things like your average quarterback did. Everybody's over here saying, yeah, get the passing yards. Yeah, 5K, all these different. Meanwhile, all these people who rank him 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 14th, 15th, wherever the hell they rank him, they all know that that's not all that matters. They've all watched Jameis Winston throw for 5,000 yards in a season. They've all watched Kirk Cousins rack up 4,500 yards a year and never do fucking shit when it mattered. They've all seen all these quarterbacks throughout the years who have put up great numbers, who can throw the ball well, and that doesn't make up the full pie for what makes a good quarterback. So when they try and put Jalen in that box and he says, guys, I don't really give a shit what you want me to do. All I want to do is win the damn game. And he actually practices what he preaches and says, keep the main thing the main thing. And it's so simple, yet it's so profound, and nobody can follow it because their entire worldview and their entire judging on quarterbacks has been framed around one thing, and it's how do they look? How many yards can he throw for? What does he, how tight is the spiral? Those are all superficial things. Some of them are good. I'm not saying they're all worthless, but I'm saying that Jalen has approached the position where I don't give a shit what people want my game to look like. The only thing I want to do is win the football game. That's it. And it's one thing to say that. It's another thing to actually be that guy. And he actually proved that he is the guy he says he is. It's one thing to say T-shirt slogans and not be that guy. It's another thing to actually say it, to live it, to breathe it, and then to have the results follow. And, scouts who are paid to grade players. And I'm not even saying people like you. I'm saying like anybody at large that has a problem. There's this new guy on the couch. I don't even know what his name is, but he's popped up in my feed a couple times. And that's part of it too, by the way. You get your name known once you shit on the guy. But, he's talking about Jalen's talent over and over and over again. And I'm like, I don't think this guy knows anything about the complexity to playing not only quarterback in life, but everything in life. Sills, if the most talented people or the smartest people were the only ones who had success, then you could, when you were born at birth, you could go, okay, what's this guy's IQ? What's he got? Okay, he's going to be this in life. That's not how it works, though. There's a lot more to it in every phase of life. And I think Jalen breaks that a little bit for the conventional people who only know how to look at it through one lens, and his unflappability where he doesn't care about it and he truly doesn't need their approval, I think drives them to drink.
Okay, well, I would say this to you then. As long as you're using that same lens that you just put Jalen Hurts in for the other guys, then I've never had a problem, but they don't. Okay? They don't put those – well, here, Okay. You do not put the other quarterbacks in the same lens because the quarterbacks that are in this league are not afforded the ability to have a great organization around them. Like here, I'll make this point to you. Lamar Jackson and Allen and Burrow have to carry their team. Hurts doesn't. He just doesn't. I'm not ripping the kid.
I know what you're saying. I
not
know you're
ripping.
saying you can't judge this the same across the league because everybody's
That's
got different
right.
circumstances. Yeah, I get that. And
Every quarterback's in a different lens.
well, here's where I differ, and not from you, but I differ from like I don't think I bash any of those quarterbacks. I say that they haven't accomplished what Hurts has, but I'm also fully aware of there's multiple reasons for that are outside of themselves. But where I have a problem with it is then when people use that against Hurts, but don't like. I actually think that happens more, and I'm not saying you. I'm saying more like at large, where people actually use that against Hurts more than they use it to discredit the other guys. Like, I agree with you. You can't discredit Joe Burrow for not winning in Cincinnati. Fucking nobody would win.
You can't ignore what Hurts has done.
And I get that. But I'm not going to use that against Jalen either. And when I've seen what he's done, I just think that he breaks that mold a little bit, and that's what people have a big problem with.
You know what it becomes with him and what he's, I think, defined. He doesn't have to be great every day. He just doesn't. However, he does take advantage of situations when they pop up. And he takes advantage of it. He took advantage of it in 22, and he took advantage of it this past season when needed. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, the conference title game, the Super Bowl. Those are probably the games that stick out the most in my mind. The rest of them were all Barkley. Okay, but those games.
That's okay, right? I mean, isn't that what I just explained?
Yes.
Like, I mean,
yes,
he's going to be who you need him to be in a given week, and the only thing he truly cares about. Yeah, I mean, but again, my point is, it's one thing to be a chameleon. It's another thing to be the actual only fucking thing he cares about is whether they won the game. That's it. That's all I don't care if I do it. I don't care if it's AJ. I don't care if it's Saquon. All I want to do is win the game. And if the game requires me to be this type of quarterback, I'm going to be him. If it requires me to throw all over the place like it did in the Super Bowl, I'm going to be that guy. And that's what I think makes him so unique and special as a player because, again, he practices what he preaches. He wants to win the football game.
I also like the fact, and I think it's important, that conversations like this continue about him because the more you're talking about him, the more relevant he is in the conversation where the first thing, get this, when any list comes out, who's the first quarterback they look at? Not who's number one, no. Who's number 5?
It's like who gets disrespected. Yeah. And Jalen's a lot of time he is that guy.
Right? Everyone looks at, hey, you're either going to go Allen right now or Mahomes or Burrow or whomever, right? First thing you look at is where's Hurts on the list? And then you start looking at it. You got him down there near Mayfield. And then you start that conversation up. I mean, so I think more people, who do you think it's more talked about more, Dak or him?
Definitely Jalen right now. Dak's been kind of quiet the last couple of years. They haven't heard much. I mean, he got hurt obviously last year, and when their team sucks.
I think it's Hurts.
I think it's definitely Hurts. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
All right, before we get to the supers, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Now, do you get a little bit of what I was saying last week about Jerry Jones?
I get a lot of what you were fucking saying. Micah to the Eagles.
Not happening, but hey. But how about this? Do you get what I was? Jerry goes like this.
Give a shit. It's Jerry's world, man, and it's Jerry's world, and we're just living in it. I mean, that's right. Get it. I get it.
And get this, he's going to get.
I still don't have a problem with Micah Parsons. What he's doing, what he did, though.
I got that too, but I'm like, you're going to get your $40 million, kid. You said things that nobody matters.
This is what's annoying about it because, well, it's not annoying, but they're going to make him wait to the last second. And you know what they're probably going to do? This is why nobody wants to play for Jerry. And there is a lesson here because I know people love to just gauge things on like money, but there's more to business than just the money. Like is he going to franchise tag Micah next year? Because that's what I see happening. And then he can do that for 2 years. And that's what the New York Giants did to Saquon. And everybody will say, oh, I know, I get it. Guys, I know they all make millions of dollars. I know that they're already spoiled. I know. Like, I hate the people who are like, well, they make millions. They'll be all right. It's like, that's not the point. In their ball game, in their ballpark, where they operate in, that's a shitty business owner. And nobody wants to work or play for that guy. So if Micah Parsons can come through.
What's the tag on that? Go ahead.
Can outlive his expectations as a first-round player and as a superstar, and you won't even give him the money early. Why the fuck would anybody want to play here versus Philly? A.J. Brown gets a second contract in 2 years because he outperformed. It's like, all right, I know he's making a lot. He's going to get paid a lot. He's going to be all right. I'm not saying he's not going to be all right, but nobody wants to play for that guy, man. I'm telling you right now. There's more to it than just how much you pay somebody. You know, a lot of people would hate their fucking boss no matter how much money they make. You know what I mean? Like, I value being a good
owner,
a good place to play, a good place to work for, a good environment. I think Jeffrey Lurie's done that in spades as compared to what they're doing over in Dallas. And I think that's a big part of it as well.
Where'd you come up with this tag? Because the tag's 20.
I came up with the tag just on basic thinking of, because if they don't pay him this summer, then he would have a chance to hit free agency. There's a 0% chance that Jerry hits free agency. And I don't think Jerry, as you just explained, he's not going to let anybody dog walk him. He's going to do whatever he can to be the big dick. All right.
Yeah.
And what's that look like?
This is over signing.
All right, Micah, you're going to take a franchise tag and you're going to pay him half the money for 2 more years.
How about this? Oh, wait a minute though. This isn't over base. This is over guaranteed money. Why they don't like
that? I agree with. But how much guaranteed money you given on a franchise tag? I mean, think about the other part of that too. Is he's going to extend out when he can get paid for 2 extra seasons on top of already what he's done. You're going to probably lower Micah Parsons' earnings potential over his career by 30-40%. Think about that. Dude, I don't think people think about it in that way. Like,
look, you're talking about signing him to a 40 annual deal, and he used franchise tagged him. That's 20,
and they're going to do it for 2 years. It's going to kick out, so he's not going to be 28, 29 years old till he gets his only big deal. Now he's going to have only one chance at the big deal.
You lose $50 million. $50 million.
Minimum. I'd say minimum.
Over 2 years.
That's what, Jerry, he dicks these players around, man. That's why I got no issue with Micah, because this is a good guy. This is a player that, it has technically represented your organization probably better than most, despite some of the issues he's brought. I mean, Jerry talks about his own organization. He sounds like a dumbass sometimes, a lot of times, but Dak Prescott is, doing like these TikTok dances at practice. The guy isn't one shit, and he's the highest paid guy, on the team. Does anybody really like him as a teammate? I think Mike is the one dude in that locker room that's actually tried to look out for everybody else, there, whether you like him or not. And Jerry's taking a fat dump on his chest. I don't know how it's going to play out, but
how about this? All seriousness, why does John like Micah so much? I mean, what's the thing he says about him?
Well, I do think Mike is a damn good player. I think he's like one of the only players to have double-digit sacks first 4 years. I mean, he does do a lot of things well, and I think John. I don't know why John likes him. I can't speak for John, but John does like him. John likes him a little bit more than I do. I don't think he's quite as good as
TJ Watt.
John says he's like a generation. Like I think he's the 3rd best edge in our league, or somewhere in there, top 5.
Would you take him over Max Crosby?
At this stage, yeah, because he's 26.
Would you take him over Nick Bosa?
I think that's probably where the cutoff is. You're probably taking Nick Bosa over him, but I don't know. Sometimes I think Bosa is a little bit of a streaky player, Now Micah is too. Micah's but
really streaky, especially against the Eagles.
Yeah, but Micah is on Dallas.
I get it.
Like, dude, Dallas doesn't really like they like you said earlier. Nothing. Dallas, well, no, not only that, but they remove guys.
Yeah.
Like even the 49ers, we love chirping them in Philly, but they at least add players. Like they got Fred Warner. They brought in Hargrave, whether it worked or not. Like they add players. Like they try and get better. They don't always make the right decisions, but they try, right? They're aggressive. You know, they have a good defense around Nick Bosa. I don't really think they have shit around Micah. I don't know. I think it's a push with those two. I would, kind of like take your pick. I'll be happy with the other.
Do you believe that Will Shipley or AJ Dillon will see the reps, or will they share the reps on lessening the load for Barkley this year? Do you see Shipley with a role?
I think he's going to have a role. I don't think it's going to be that big. I mean, look, the nature of the beast is running backs don't last that long, and right now we got one that's on historic.
Will he have a Kenny Gainwell role?
I think that's fair. I mean, Kenny Gainwell had what, 400 yards last year? Yeah, I think
good.
Yeah, I think maybe you have marginally better where like maybe him and Dillon both get 400 yards or so. Like both of them have kind of an equal role split back there. But I mean, look, running backs don't last that long in the NFL. The guy that we have right now got a lot of the tread on his tires eaten up by a really shitty organization that gave him no help, got him injured multiple times. And he spent a good portion of his prime years in a shitty organization. So factoring that in and saying, all right, we got Saquon right now. He's 28 or 29 years old. Let's say he's got 2 good seasons left or 3 good seasons left. Like, dude, I'm not going to spare him for Will fucking Shipley. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to run Saquon Barkley while I got him because he's not a 10-year guy in Philly. He's not. So I'm using Saquon Barkley. I'm running the shit out of him. And I'm going to watch what he can do because he's a special player, a special talent, and he's playing football at a high level right now.
All right. A couple more here for you. Dude, Tanner McKee is having a great camp.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I mean, listen, I
think he's maturing. Did you hear him at the podium this year? He's maturing. Yep.
Dude, I think the Buccaneers have a horrible backup quarterback in Kyle Trask.
Yeah, I never liked him coming. You don't like him because he's a Gator.
Well, hey, probably so. But
no, you're right, though. He hasn't done shit. Remember, he barely won the job in Florida. It was like this whole story. It was like, not supposed to be the starter.
Bro, he overthrows passes in practice. He does it, the timely ones that are easy checkdowns he misses. And then I looked at, and I said it this morning, I go, boy, the Eagles got a guy in this Tanner McKee dude, man. Do you think you get a 3rd rounder for him?
I feel like that's a little rich. But
4?
I think a 4 makes sense. I mean, I don't know. Maybe a 3. I mean, you could probably get a 3. I mean, I don't know. It depends how needy teams are, and it depends what Tanner shows.
What if he has a fucking monster fucking
preseason? Then yeah, you're gonna get a 3 for him. I mean, there's a premium on quarterbacks, but who's gonna? There's got to be somebody looking for one. Who?
New Orleans.
Why?
Because I'll give you
a draft that fucking Stifler in the 2nd round.
Who? I don't. What? No, they got the guy from South Carolina.
No, they got the Stifler.
The Stifler. Okay, well, Tanner McKee. What if they?
No, the fucking Stifler from Louisville. Oh, no, he didn't play Louisville. Where'd he play? Where'd Tyler Shuck play?
Tyler Shuck didn't he? Syracuse.
No, that's McCord.
I
don't know where that dude started.
Was it Louisville?
He played Louisville.
He played at Louisville. Come on, man. This fucking Stifler. Dude, so Tanner McKee.
But my point is they spent a 2nd on him. They're not going to trade a 3rd now for McKee.
No. They're not going to do that. No way. All right. So let's get to these super chats, my friend.
What's going on to the great people of JAKIB Nation? Gotta love it.
You guys, hey man. Hey, do you play your starters? Do you any of the starters see any? What position, Zander? Hold on for a second. Safety, yay or nay?
What do you mean safety? Start him? Hell yeah. Who the heck's our safety? And why does he deserve to sit on the bench?
Corner, start him.
Ringo, yeah. Absolutely. Jahad Campbell, if he's healthy, I'd play him for at least a series.
Trotter starts.
Trotter might not because he's the starter. Like they might be like, I don't want to. I don't know. They got a lot of depth there, so maybe. They probably won't play Campbell either, by the way.
What's that?
They probably won't play Campbell either.
What about Moro Jomo?
No, he ain't gonna play.
Jalix Hunt.
I'd like to. In my estimation, he should play, but he's not going to play.
Okay. Has John given us any insight on who's winning that right guard spot? Is it Tyler?
It's Tyler. It's Tyler right now, all through and through.
Okay. That's good to hear because that kid Kenyon Green's not going to make the team.
No, he's done. Which again adds to the point CJ Gardner-Johnson earlier. Was that too much ego involved, folks? Did Howie get a little ahead of himself and get worse at the safety spot because he couldn't handle a big personality? Look, I don't know the back end. Maybe Jeffrey Lurie's the guy who came down and said, I don't want that guy on my football team anymore. I don't know. I do not know. The only thing I'm telling you is right now we got effectively works at safety, and the only explanation to me that makes a single shred of sense is they didn't like the guy. That's it. Like, it wasn't money. All these people, and John's selling the same story from the organization. It was about the money. It's about not the cap, the cash. And I'm like, bro, the guy was making $8 million.
Yeah,
they're about to play Reed Blankenship $15 million. Like, guy was making $8 fucking million. That is dirt cheap for a good secondary player.
Especially if you're going to sign Simmons. If you sign Simmons for $8, what's the point? Depending on what happens, you think there's still a shot they could sign or trade for somebody at that out of the building at safety or corner?
Well, I hope they're good because, I mean, you do that and then it's like, got rid of Gardner-Johnson to sign what, 34-year-old Justin Simmons? Can that guy even play? I mean, I know everybody loves that name and talking about him, but seriously, is that guy going to fit? I mean, if we signed him today, would you take that off your concern list?
No.
Me neither.
No.
Me neither.
No, because, I mean, is he going to be Kevin Baird or is he going to be a guy who's going to give you something back there and be a Gardner-Johnson type player? All right, let's get to the Super, Zander.
All right. Deshae says we need defensive ends. I don't disagree, Deshae. They're relying on Uchi Kuchi.
I thought Vic said – I didn't think Vic took a shit on those guys. I thought
no, he didn't take a shit on them, but it's, I don't know. Do you think having Uche and Ojulari? I mean, look, we are not a team that, you don't – edge is a position where all four of your guys are going to play. You're not going to –
rotation after Brandon Graham got hurt, it was Jalix Hunt, it was Nolan Smith, and who else was it? Josh Sweat. And wasn't that just a three-man rotation they had?
But that was tough. Remember, Vic talked about it. I don't want to do it with three-man, but I have to right now.
So Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, and those two guys splitting up the reps, Ojulari and Uche?
I guess so.
Boy, that sounds even different, doesn't it?
That's what I mean. I mean, it's fair to say we need some Big Marshall. What up, Big Marsh? Checking back in. Good to see you, brother. Mark Holmes next to open up his hole for Jerry. Oh, come on, man.
Hey, Marsh.
Come on, man.
I'm going to say it, man. Jerry Jones does things his own way, and he walks the way he wants to walk. And no matter how many post players, this has gone on for 30 years. That's why, Zander, I think we were kind of saying the same thing in a way. I'm not saying the player didn't have a right to call Jerry out. But at the end of the day, it's empty words, man.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But again, I don't care with him doing it. Yo, Micah, you want to come on over to Philly? Just, give Howie a 10. He'll get the deal done.
$40 million. You're willing to pay that?
I know everybody likes chirping at Micah Parsons, but you put him on our football team right now. What do you think?
Micah Parsons and Nolan Smith. And
you go from Joshua fucking Uchi Coochie to Micah Parsons. Come on, man. Come on.
How much of a distraction would he be?
0. Culture's too big here. It's one. In Dallas, there's no structure, Sills. Think about it. There's no permeating culture in Dallas. So it's free-flowing. In other words, everybody can go their own way. And that can pull different players in different directions. In Philly, there is an underlying, you can do your thing, you can rock and roll, but this is the culture in the locker room, on the team. That's been set very clearly by Jalen Hurts, and I think Sirianni's done a good job as well.
I proposed this morning in Tampa. You give 2 1s and a 3 for Parsons, and you have Reddick, Parsons, Vita Vea, and Kalijah Clancy chasing down Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, no, that would work.
And you got Levante David playing linebacker.
That'd be a pretty good defense. But the problem with paying for 2 ones is the 40 mil. You're going to give him 40 mil on top of 2 ones, you know?
You think Washington will be in play for this?
Maybe, because he's had such a shitty offseason. I don't think he's had a good offseason. You know, it's funny that people, and I get it. He had a great year last year, turned that team around.
Adam Peters?
Yeah, Adam Peters. And a lot of people like started putting him in, oh, we got our Howie. And I'm like, yo, pump the fucking brakes. All right, this guy has had 1 good year. Like, legitimately pump the brakes. I've watched Howie dominate for the better part of the last 5 years.
Agreed, but 1 year of him being, he got him to the NFC.
Yeah, but I do not. Do you like, seriously? And I know you like Jaden Daniels, and I have no issue with that. That's a special player. He looks like he's going to be a damn good quarterback for a long time. I'm taking nothing away from him. Do you honestly like what they did this offseason?
They brought better players in than what they had, and where they went.
Where though? At receiver, Debo's better than what they got. The offensive line they improved.
They upgraded the number.
Javon Kinlaw and replaced Jonathan Allen with Javon Kinlaw.
The defensive side of the football, probably down there in that tackle position, and they lose Fowler.
Right.
Fowler went to Fowler.
And remember, they made that big trade last year for Lattimore. And to be honest with you, I think Lattimore's best years are behind him.
Yeah, New Orleans. I would say this though, that I think they've added better players. Now, again, will they hold up? That's a fair comment. But experience, I mean, dude, they went to the NFC Championship game with lesser players. They've improved the roster. You're looking at the ages of the players. Do you know that the PFF grades came out for offensive tackles? Tunsil's number 5.
Yeah.
It's not that, dude. And they had the worst left tackle in football. How's that not an upgrade? They got the 5th best left tackle now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. You're right. They did make some moves that are better.
It's fair to say that the best years with him are behind him.
Drozan says, Zander, I love CJ, but the story I heard was that he sparked a blunt next to Lori. I'm like, who cares? Like, who cares, Dro? What, they pop champagne next to the owner. What? Weed's legal in half the damn country. He can't smoke a jet or a blunt when he wins the damn Super Bowl. That can't be the reason.
I heard it was more Christian Parker had to tell him.
Me too. That's what I heard. I heard Christian Parker had an issue with him.
That it was just constant back and forth.
Also, I don't think Jeffrey Lurie is the type of owner that would really care as much about that as you think. Yeah.
No.
All right. Let's keep going. Yeah, look at this. 2 members coming in at the same time. Steve Ike and Spike Go Active. I think that's Loki. I don't know what's up.
Hey, Steve, I got to tell you give me a ton of shit every day, but that's really cool. Steve.
Yeah, thanks everybody for the memberships. We love all you guys, man. Plenty of giveaways coming this year.
Thank you very much. That's really dope.
Thank you. Abe says Clint Hurt as a guest if you're able to. I don't think they'll let him.
No, they won't let him.
Yeah, they're tough on Silio's show.
I don't want to make it hard for him.
Yeah. You know? Sig Lord says Simmons was good with Vic as his coach, though. Yeah, he was. Justin Simmons.
Yeah, but how many years ago is that? 3?
Yeah, that's what I mean, bro. That's not a guarantee. Nick Walker checking in.
46 years old. That's one thing.
Holy shit! What's this guy standing next to? Is that a fucking satellite? A spaceship? What is that thing? An Elon Musk rocket?
Holy shit! What is that? That looks like my penis. Jahan Dotson, there you go, brother.
We are back, baby. Jahan Dotson. All right, Nick, I don't know what you're up to.
How you doing?
Sileo had to go there, didn't he? Ryan Pump checks in. What up, Pump? He says, how do you guys look at the running back room and feel comfortable? If Saquon gets injured, we are cooked. Y'all trusting BJ Dillon and William? Montrez Johnson.
BJ Dillon. Oh my God. BJ Dillon.
This dude Pumper.
Come on, Pump.
You gotta be kidding me. All right, Sovereign Retirement Group. Look at that. This guy's teaching us how to retire.
Look at the suit he's in, too.
I know, looking dapper, my guy. He says if Jalen wins another ring next 1 to 2 years, he can be Terry Bradshaw of his generation, clutching big games and an awesome defense. I take that.
Dude, Terry Bradshaw, 4 rings. You want to hear the most insane thing about Bradshaw? You know that country attitude he gives you? You know, he didn't have an offensive coordinator. Terry Bradshaw didn't have an offensive coordinator. He called all the plays. Did you know that? I mean, that redneck called 4 Super Bowl wins, 4-0.
That's impressive. Here's Big Marshall says, cut the crap, Zander. You're describing Sills' people. Hate Hurts because of Sills' narratives. How you doing? Dickhead, great show.
Yes,
Big Marsh.
Marsh, not me, man. People
Wow, a lot of members today. Terrence Bond as well.
Look at this, man. More
I
members.
appreciate that, man.
Sir.
Christopher Michael, last super chat before we get to JAKIB. He says, I've been consistent with my Ringo take, but is Adoree really that guy? Also, if neither works, does Howie make a move? Maybe we should have kept Rodgers. Yeah, it's not a bad call. I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. A lot of some unproven guys there this year, but look, that's football.
Do you think Keely Ringo's better than Isaiah Rodgers?
Well, I've seen nothing to believe that to be true. And Vic played Isaiah last year over Ringo. Now, Ringo was the special teams gunner, and he did some of those other things. But last year, when Slay went down, it was Isaiah Rodgers that came in, not Keely Ringo. So I don't know, though. I do remember, I'm a big SEC football fan, and I know it's not the same. I know that's not just saying. I feel like this guy does have an upside. I just hope he can get to it because I don't think Ringo's as big of a stiff as people make him sound. Lamar says, rank the issues in the NFC East 1 through 4 on severity.
Cowboys running game. The Redskins would be defensive line that Zander said.
Yep.
And I would say the New York Giants, pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
Quarterback.
The Eagles' biggest concern is a lot lesser of a concern than all the concerns those other teams got.
It's safety and corner, I think. So I think that's a great way to get to JAKIB, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. So it's good stuff, brother. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Hey, by the way, show after, right?
Yep, tonight, 6 to 8 p.m. on Birds 365. Thank you, brother.
All right, you got it. Thank you, Big Z. We appreciate that. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. All right. So I go over and I see Gary Cobb posting a bunch of stuff there, man. He's out there over there at the NovaCare Center, and he's watching what's going on. So how about this? Before we bring JAKIB on, I want him to hear the question. Do you think Howie Roseman overstepped it with the cornerback and with the safety? Which one is more of the concern now? You got rid of Slay. You got rid of Gardner Johnson. Right now, ask yourself this. What's more of a concern after the first week? By the way, Dirty D, being a Georgia fan, I watch Ringo every Saturday. That man has talent to step up. I mean, the guy is really a great player. I agree with you, Dirty D. Unfortunately, he also looked lost in some plays as well. The left guy's wide open. I get it. And I think he has trouble tracking. Thank you for the 11 members of the 11 months. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Without further ado, let's get to JAKIB.